The sun hung low over the sleepy town of Willow Creek, casting a golden sheen across the quiet streets. It was a Tuesday in early April, the kind of crisp spring morning where the air smelled of dew and the birds sang like they had something to prove. Sheriff Daniel Hayes leaned back in the driver's seat of his 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, a beast of a car painted a deep forest green. It wasn't his patrol cruiser; those were too boxy, too predictable. This was his personal ride, inherited from his older brother, Jack, who'd left it to him with a scribbled note 2 years back. "Don't let her rust, Danny. Live a little." Jack had died in a freak motorcycle accident, and the Cuda was Daniel's tether to Hema roaring, gas-guzzling promise he kept alive most days. Daniel sipped his coffee, the steam curling up from the travel mug on the dash, as he cruised a back road through the prim and proper Maple Grove neighborhood. Officially, he was on duty, scouting for signs of the street racers who'd been tearing up the county's quieter corners. Unofficially, he was escaping, clearing his head from the endless paperwork and small-town squabbles that came with the badge. The Cuda purred beneath him, its V8 engine a low growl that blended with the morning stillness. He kept it just under the speed limit, 32 and a 30, not enough to raise eyebrows, but enough to feel the road. That's when he saw her. Margaret Peggy Rollins stood on her manicured lawn like a sentinel, a garden hose in one hand and a phone in the other, her visor pulled low as if she were staring down the sun itself. She was a local legend in all the wrong ways, Willow Creek's self-appointed guardian of order, a one-woman HOA terror with a reputation for turning molehills into mountains. She'd once fined a family for a too festive mailbox and sent a cease and desist letter to a kid for chalk drawings that disrupted curb appeal. Peggy didn't just enforce rules. She was the rules, armed with a clipboard, a two-way radio, and a terrier named Biscuit who yapped at anything that moved. As Daniel's Cuda rolled past her beige bungalow, Peggy's head snapped up like a hawk spotting prey. "That's it," she hissed, loud enough for him to hear through the cracked window. She darted inside, phone already to her ear, then reemerged mid-call, jabbing a finger at his taillights. "Yes, 911, I've got an emergency." He's in a green Barracuda, going at least 50, maybe 60. He nearly ran over Biscuit and ruined my azaleas. Daniel smirked, glancing at his speedometer. 32. The dispatcher's voice crackled faintly through her phone, probably trying to make sense of the floral felony report. He hadn't even pulled over yet when his own radio buzzed to life. "Sheriff Hayes, you've got a reckless driving report," came the voice of Deputy Sarah Klein, barely hiding her amusement. "Caller says you're tearing through Maple Grove like it's the Indy 500. Peggy Rollins, I assume." Daniel chuckled, easing the Cuda to a stop a block away. "Let me guess, demanding my badge?" "Pretty much. Said you endangered her dog and her yard serenity. You want me to tell her it's you?" "Nah," he said, grinning. "Let her figure it out." By the time he strolled into the station 10 minutes later, the story was already spreading. Deputy Tommy Ruiz, the rookie with a grin too big for his face, greeted him at the desk. "Sheriff, you're famous. Peggy called you a hoodlum in a hot rod. Dispatch ran your plates mid-rant, and her radio squawked her name. You should have seen her face pure gold." Daniel arched a brow, pouring himself more coffee. "She back off." "Nope. Double down." Said rank doesn't excuse chaos on wheels. That was Peggy in a nutshell, unyielding, even when she was dead wrong. It wasn't just the call that irked him. It was her smug certainty, the way she turned a non-issue into a crusade. He could have let it slide, written it off as another Peggy tantrum, but something about her sanctimonious strut lit a spark. This wasn't about law, Anna Marie, it was personal. By noon, the incident had gone viral in Willow Creek's small-town ecosystem. A teenager caught Peggy's meltdown on TikToker waving the hose, shouting, "I demand justice," until her radio betrayed her with Sheriff Daniel Hayes. The clip ended with her frozen, mouth agape, a perfect meme template. Comments flooded in. Peggy versus the sheriff round one, and her azaleas deserve an Oscar. Someone even mocked up of bingo card boxes like car too loud, dog too stressed, and flowers too offended. Peggy didn't slink away, though. She fired back in a Maple Grove Facebook group, posting a concerned citizen manifesto. Speeders threaten our peace, badge or not. I caught one today, rank, doesn't matter. She conveniently left out that it was Daniel or that her speeder was doing 32 in a 30. The post exploded. Most mocked her, but her loyalists, dubbed Peggy's posse, rallied. One suggested speed bumps. Another proposed a neighborhood watch in matching vests. Peggy ate it up, announcing a petition for traffic safety measures despite 0 accidents on her street in a decade. Daniel saw an opportunity. He wasn't one for petty revenge, but Peggy's nonsense begged for a clever counter. He dug into the HOA bylaws not for his farmhouse on the outskirts, but through his cousin Ellie's rental on Cedar Lane. Ellie laughed when he asked to join as her proxy. "Just don't get me fined for my wind chimes again," she said, handing him the paperwork. At the next HOA meeting, Peggy strutted in, clipboard in hand, Biscuit trotting behind. She didn't notice Daniel in the back row until he waved, a polite smile masking the mischief in his eyes. Her jaw tightened, but she pressed on, launching into a tirade about restoring order after recent recklessness. She pushed her speed bump vote, glaring at him as she spoke. Some think they're above the rules. Daniel waited, then raised a hand. "Peggy, got any data? Crash reports? Tickets? Or is this just about my CUDA spooking your petunias?" Laughter rippled through the room. She bristled. "It's not one incident, it's a pattern." No one bought it. He leaned forward. "How about a park instead? Kids get a playground. No cars get dented by random bumps." The room erupted in applause. Peggy stormed out, muttering about urgent business, though her husband, Carl, was spotted eating fries at the diner next door. The saga escalated from there. Word of sheriff versus Peggy spread like wildfire texts, memes, even a Peggy Patrol hashtag. She retaliated with petty violations. Ellie got a notice for uneven grass height, followed by a citation for unapproved porch seating after Daniel sat there with a beer. "She's unhinged," Ellie said, laughing. "Next she'll fine me for breathing too loud." Peggy's grip started slipping. Her allies wavered. Clara, a longtime posse member, whispered at a meeting, "She's losing it." Heard she's drafting a no loud laughter rule. When Peggy pitched banning porch lights for visual clutter, half the room laughed outright. "Ban Halloween next," someone shouted. Her petition stalled, her rants grew shrill, and Daniel kept showing up calm, grinning, dismantling her with questions and charm. Then she went quiet. No posts, no patrols, no biscuit yapping at joggers. It wasn't defeat, it was strategy. Daniel's gut twisted. Peggy didn't quit. She plotted. Deputy Sarah flagged it a week later, dropping a stack of complaints on his desk. 50-plus anonymous gripes, same handwriting, targeting Peggy's enemies. Mailbox too shiny, hedge too wild. She's weaponizing paper. Daniel dug deeper. Old HOA fines led to a private P.O. box, not the official account. Violations like fence asymmetry and ornament overuse carried fines hundreds of dollars, siphoned somewhere. "She's running a racket," Sarah said, wiping coffee off a file. "Fake fees, veiled threats. It's a shakedown." The break came unexpectedly. Peggy's ex-husband, Ray, sat at the diner, nursing a coffee and a crossword. Daniel slid into the booth. "Still cleaning up her messes?" Ray sighed. "She's a tornado with a pen. Kept a ledger every infraction, real or not. Has shed out back, locked tight. Check the rose bushes. She buried more than plants." Half joking, half serious, it was enough. Daniel got a warrant: fraud, forgery, misuse of funds. Judge Harper signed it fast. Even he'd heard the rumors. At dawn, they hit Peggy's house. She answered in a robe and pearls, unfazed. "Harassment. Abuse of power," she snapped. "Call your lawyer," Daniel said. She did, glaring as they searched. Under the rose bushes, Sarah found a sealed box, fake HOA letters, forged signatures, payment demands, deposit slips. 3 more boxes followed, a paper trail of extortion. Neighbors watched, phones out, as Peggy's empire crumbled. At the station, she finally spoke. "I kept it civilized. Willow Creek needs rules, or it's chaos." Daniel met her gaze. This wasn't rule sit, was control. You scared people in a line. Pity flickered, but not enough to soften the charges. Fraud, forgery, obstruction. No cuffs, just a summons, but the TikTok kids whisper, HOA queen down, hit 1 million views by nightfall. Peggy's trial came fast. She pled guilty, avoiding jail with restitution, her savings drained to repay victims. Willow Creek exhaled. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a no-fines council with coffee and donuts. Murals popped up on mailboxes, kids sold lemonade, and string lights twinkled past curfew. Daniel drove, the CUDA again, windows down, past Peggy's silent house. She sat on her porch one dusk, glass in hand, eyes meeting his. Defeat flashed no wave, no words. He drove on. The town wasn't perfect, but it was free. A mural on Main Street read, slow, steady, spicy, a nod to the sheriff who'd rolled in quiet and sassy, turning Peggy's rain to dust. And yeah, he still sped a little for pancakes. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.